All right, so we just did direct variation. Now we're going to compare that with inverse variation. So for direct variation, and this table is a direct variation, I'm telling you that, but what you're going to get asked in the questions is this a direct or an inverse variation? What I want you to notice here is if you take 1 and divide by 5, you get 1/5. Now look, if you take 2 and divide by 10, you get 1/5. 2/10 is 1/5. If you take 3 and divide by 15, oh my gosh, it is 1/5. So write it down. So for direct variation, you are going to divide the y's by the x's to get the constant of variation. And so for this problem, k is 1/5. And that would be the slope of the line. If you plotted these points, your slope, I'll show you. Can you watch? Let me share my screen and I'll show you. Look, do you know that this will plot points for you? You've done this before? 5,1. Look at that. Do you see right there? And then what's the next one? 10,2. And then 15,3. I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit. Do you see this though? Up 1/5. Slope is 1/5. We're together there. All right, because you can always type them in. All right, now look at this one. This is new. We did direct. Now we're going to do inverse. If you take -4 times -3, you're going to get what? +12. Good. If you take -2 times -6, you're going to get +12. And if you take 3 times 4, you're going to get 12. So for an inverse variation, you're going to multiply the y's by the x's to get the constant of variation. And so for this, k is 12. So 1 is multiplying and 1 is dividing. Cool. Go ahead. Putting what? Yes. For this one, you can't put M for inverse because that's not actually a line, so it doesn't have a slope, but I still wouldn't mark it wrong. I really don't care what letter of the alphabet you use. All right, last page. Your equation for direct variation, we already went over that. It's y equals kx. Or if you want to put M there, y equals mx, you can do that. Cool? For inverse, it's going to be y equals k over x. And that's why that doesn't make a straight line. If you were to type in y equals some number over x, it does not come out to a line. Okay. So now we're going to answer some of these word problems. According to Hooke's law, the force required to stretch a spring varies directly with S. That's the length of the spring. So you can write y equals kx if you want, but I'm going to use the letters that were in the problem, which was F for force and S for spring. Some of you will take physics later on in high school and you'll do problems like this. Now we're going to plug in the numbers. 30 is the force and the spring is 5 inches long. Can you imagine in your head a spring and like putting force on it? Like, you know how springs work? You've seen a slinky before? Did you write this down? Question? Okay. What would you do to both sides to get k by itself? Divide by 5. Oh my gosh. For direct variation, how do you get the constant of variation? You divide. Am I crazy? Okay. So you're going to divide both sides by 5. And what is k? 6. Good. K is 6. The slope of the line is 6. Now, when they ask you for the equation, you have to rewrite this. So it'll be F equals 6S, and that's your answer. The too long didn't listen to Miss Cole version. We took 30 divided by 5 and got 6. Okay? Now for this one, length of a violin string varies. Oh, this one says inversely with the frequency of its vibrations. All right. So instead of it looking like this, like a line, it's going to look like this. Again, you can use X and Y, but I'm going to use the letters that are in the problem. So it was L for the length of the string, And then F for the frequency of its vibration. So, I mean, again, you can use whatever letters of the alphabet you want, doesn't really matter. And then you plug in the numbers, all right? The string is 14 inches long, so that's going to be L. And the frequency is 450 cycles per second. What would you do to solve 4K? Multiply by 450. Oh my gosh, on the page right before this, for inverse variation, didn't we say we needed to? All right, so we're going to multiply by 450 on both sides. And I'm going to have to type that in the calculator because I don't know 450 times 14 off the top of my head. So hold on a second. What is it, times 14? Is that what it is?
I don't know.
Oh, no. 6,300. Good guess, though. So 6,300 is K. And again, you want to write the equation. So it's L equals 6,300 over F for the frequency. So look at the next one. S is sales to a baseball game is $12,000. 800 people attended. It doesn't say if it's direct or inverse, but look, the more people that go to the game, what's going to happen to the sales? So the more people, the more sales. That's a direct variation. As one thing goes up, the other goes up too. So it's going to be S equals K times P. S is sales, P is people. So what is S? How much money? 12,000 equals K times people, which is 800. And what would you do to solve 4K? Oh my gosh, for direct variation, you divide. I'll type that one in. I could try to do that one in my head, but I don't want to mess it up. 15. I got 15 in the calculator is K. What that means is it's $15 per ticket. Do you get what I'm saying? If they made that much money and you divide by the people, it's $15 per ticket. So your equation is S equals 15P. You just rewrite the thing with the K value in there. All right, and then last one of these. 5 workers can complete a project in 24 days. It doesn't say if it's direct or inverse, but listen to me. The more people you have helping, the less days it should take. You see what I'm saying? More people is less days. That's an inverse variation. Is one thing goes up, the other goes down, like a seesaw. Okay. So we're going to have W for workers and D for days. It's not linear. It's not a line. As one thing goes up, the other goes down. So how many workers did we say we had? Workers. 5 workers. Days is 24. What do you do to both sides to solve it? Multiply by 24. Remember, for inverse, you're going to multiply. Again, I could try and do that one in my head, but I don't want to mess it up in my head. 120. So 120 is K. And then what is your equation? Well, you're going to recopy the first step, but put the K value in there. So that would be what? 120. No, 120 is K. It's 120 over D. Perfect. Thank you. All right. And then here, we're just going to decide what type of variation and write the equation. You're either multiplying the numbers or dividing the numbers. For these ones, it looks kind of like we're multiplying. So let's just check. Hey guys, what's 5 times 3? Negative 15 times negative 1. And negative 3 times negative 5. Oh my gosh, we multiplied them. That means that it's inverse. And it'll be y equals 15 over x. Hey guys, this one's probably dividing. If you do 4 divided by 10, how's that going to reduce? Good. If you do 6 over 15, it's 2 over 5. And if you do 8 over 20, it's 2 over 5. So when you divide, that means Direct, divide, direct. Divide means direct. And so your equation is y equals 2/5 x. It should look like a line. It should look linear. The 2/5 is your slope, up 2/5. And if you plotted these points, it would look like a line going up 2/5.